Hello, Nets fans. So it's that fun and exciting time of the offseason during the finals when there are a million rumors going around about where upcoming free agents are going to land. And obviously, the Nets are a team that's definitely in the conversation for some of the big name free agents out there. And due to all that, I'm excited. And I put together a few scenarios of what we could see the Nets doing this offseason and what kind of roster they can have for next season. So let's get into it. So, scenario number one I listed as the master plan because I don't really think this is going to happen, but there's a very small possibility that it can happen or that it will happen. So anyway, the Nets would have to obviously trade Allen Crabbe, who I think is taking up $18.5 million of cap space next season. So they would have to unload him, along with a draft pick, most likely the 27th overall pick, I think it is, that we own from Denver. Trade that and Crabbe to a team that has a lot of salary cap space and get his contract off the books. So the Nets would have to obviously trade Crabbe, as I said, sign Kyrie Irving, sign Kevin Durant, and obviously they're both going to be free agents, so you don't have to give up anything besides money, and then trade for Anthony Davis. And obviously a trade for Anthony Davis is going to be a lot. He's one of the top 3 to 5 talents in the NBA. I listed a trade here. I would do sign and trade D'Angelo Russell, Jared Allen, Rodions Kurucs, Karis LeVert, and the 17th pick in this upcoming draft for Anthony Davis. So obviously the NBA is a star-driven league, and if you have a team that has Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, you should automatically be finals contenders no matter what kind of supporting cast they have around those guys. And the Nets team would not be that bad around them. They would have Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, Zana Musa, a team option for Shabazz Napier, which I think they would pick up. They would have Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Ed Davis, who's one of the most underrated players in the NBA, Jared Dudley, and they could add another free agent, for a cheap contract. So I think this team is definitely a finals contender. I just don't see it happening. A lot of things would have to go right. I wouldn't want to get rid of D'Angelo Russell. That would kind of hurt because I like D'Angelo. But obviously, for a team like this that would compete for the finals, I think it would be a great team. And it would compete right away, obviously. So I think this would be an amazing group. Not the most depth, obviously, but when you have 3 superstars, I mean, who really cares? They're gonna get it done as long as they stay healthy. So, in terms of winning a championship, I think this is the most likely squad that would do it. I just don't see it happening because, as I said, a lot of things would have to go right. The Pelicans would have to accept their offer, and Kyrie would have to get Kevin Durant on board to join the Brooklyn Nets. So, unlikely, but it is possible. Scenario 2 I have listed as Kyrie and the 4. So if you watch the Nets, you obviously know that the Nets did not have a strong 4 last year or a power forward. They had guys like Rondae Hollis-Jefferson trying to man that position. Didn't really work out too well. They went undersized with Rodions Kurucs, and the Nets definitely struggled in rebounding because of it. So I think they need to get a strong 4 this year. So basically, I said this scenario would be, once again, trade Allen Crabbe. They would have to re-sign D'Angelo Russell, sign Kyrie Irving as a free agent, and then sign a player like a Paul Millsap, Julius Randle, or a Marcus Morris. Now, I do believe Paul Millsap has a team option with Denver, but it's for $30 million, and I do not see any reason why a team would bring Paul Millsap back for that amount of money. That's kind of insane. I think Millsap's like 35 or 36 years old, so I really don't see the point in paying him $30 million. I do believe Randall's unrestricted, and so is Marcus Morris, so those are definitely legitimate options. So this squad's not too bad. It definitely has more depth than the last team. Our guards are looking really good. I mean, the 5th guard listed here is Karis LeVert. That's pretty insane. And then forwards, I mean, the Nets will get the 4 that they needed. Paul Millsap, a guy that could stretch the floor, shoot threes, could be a good rebounder, play good defense for us. And I think a lot of this team's success would have to, be around how much Jared Allen improves. I think if Jared Allen takes that next step, this could be a very good team that could win 50-plus games. I don't know if they can make the finals with this team. I don't know if they can get past Toronto or Milwaukee with a team like this, even the Sixers. But, if this team gels together and puts together, and has good chemistry on the floor, I think it's possible. But kind of a long shot. I think the scenario 1 definitely has a better shot at making it further. But, I don't think it's impossible. So, I mean, this team, would definitely be better than the Nets team last year. I just don't think it would get them over the hump to make an NBA championship. So the last scenario, I mean, there's the good news for this scenario is that the Nets would not have to trade any of their picks. They obviously would trade a pick in the Crab trade most likely, but they would get to keep their own pick in all likelihood. But the bad news is that D'Angelo Russell is not on this team. So if you are a fan of keeping D'Angelo, then you would probably not like this. But this team overall is not too bad. At least the Nets get to keep like Karis LeVert on this team. They get to keep Jared Allen on this team, stuff like that. But so I would have the Nets signing KD and Kyrie, obviously, and then signing two veterans that would not break the bank. I think signing guys, for under 10 million, two different guys would be a good idea. Two veterans. I had them signing Rudy Gay and Darren Collison for this scenario. I mean, it could be anybody, obviously, but those are just two guys I saw that I think would fit this team pretty nicely. So, this team would have a starting lineup of like Kyrie, Joe Harris, Kevin Durant, Rudy Gay, and Jared Allen. That's not too bad, honestly. That's a pretty good squad as well. That's another team I think that should eclipse 50 wins, but I think this team could get to the finals. I think Kevin Durant's that good of a player. I mean, I don't like him personality-wise, but I think Kevin Durant's that good of a talent. Kyrie Irving is not the kind of guy that should be running a team from what we saw in Boston this year. So if the Nets had KD and then Kyrie at the top, and a bunch of guys underneath them that are good players like Joe Harris, who obviously was not great in the playoffs, but during the regular season, Harris was a very effective player. Rudy Gay still putting up pretty nice numbers. Jared Allen, as I said, needs to improve, and you have a veteran like Darren Collison who could still get it done. Karis LeVert is probably only going to get better. Rodion Kuru should get better. Ed Davis is a guy I love, obviously, and Zana Musa is another guy who I hope gets to play next year and gets to show us what he has. So, I mean, this could be a good team, and I think, they could possibly make it to a championship. I don't know if they would win, but I think this team once again has a good chance. So I think in terms of, what teams I think can go the furthest, I think the first scenario definitely has the best shot at winning a championship. I would put this team second, and then scenario number 2 I would have third. But I think all these teams obviously improve the Nets. I don't see a way they can get worse with this kind of roster or any of these rosters. So it's just interesting. I mean, there's a million ways the Nets can go about this offseason. They can keep the same team, and I don't think many fans would be upset about it or anything like that, because the Nets roster that right now should get better. It's a lot of young players that should improve, so I don't think that would bother anybody. But there's a bunch of things they can do. It'll be a very interesting next couple of months, but these are just a few scenarios that, I've kind of been hearing. I mean, we hear Stephen A. Smith talk about Kyrie wants to go to the Nets, and some people say KD is going to consider the Nets as well. So I kind of just want to get my thoughts out there and give you guys a few scenarios. So I appreciate you watching. Hopefully the Nets do something amazing this offseason that we all love. I trust Sean Marks, and I think he will do the right thing, but we will have to wait and see. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you next time.